After saving a pregnant woman who was losing blood rapidly on the side of a Los Angeles freeway, I suddenly became the target of a violent online backlash. That woman, Emma Collins, brazenly accused me of being the driver who hit her, causing her to miscarry. Less than 24 hours later, I was suspended from work. Outraged netizens threw me into the street. A truck came barreling toward me. I died instantly. As my soul floated out of my body, I saw Emma sitting in a hospital chair, clinging to my husband, Ethan Walker, beaming, "You did great, got rid of the deformed baby, and earned tons of sympathy from the internet." This kind of content is a gold mine. Ethan gently stroked her hair and whispered, "Too bad she was so rich. But now that she's dead, her fortune is ours." I opened my eyes again. Time had rewound. I was back on that very fateful day when Emma was supposedly hit by a car. Ethan stood in front of me, handing me his bank card. "Here, babe. Go on a shopping spree today." I instinctively stepped back. His gaze flickered, his voice laced with fake sweetness. But I was seething inside, goosebumps rising on my skin, my teeth clenched in fury. Who would have thought that this so-called perfect husband would collude with his mistress, get her pregnant, and then plan to kill me together? Ethan was a phenomenal actor. Even with a second chance at life, I couldn't spot a single crack on his facade. Remembering the tragic way I died in my past life, I let out a cold laugh. "You want to play games? Fine. This time I'll take you both down with me." I smiled and nodded. "Then come with me." I wanted him to witness with his own eyes the sight of his mistress lying in a pool of blood in the street. He hesitated but followed. As I recalled, they had planned everything meticulously in my past life. They believed that as a woman I wouldn't be able to ignore someone in distress. Halfway there, I suddenly cried out, "Oh no, I forgot my phone. I have to go back and get it." Ethan frowned but kept driving. "No need. I'm here, aren't I?" I stared at him coldly. What if something comes up at the company? I need my phone. I'm not going anywhere without it. He glanced at me, wanting to argue, but ultimately gritted his teeth and turned the car around. "Fine. Be quick. I'll wait downstairs." I smiled sweetly and deliberately stalled upstairs. 10 minutes later, I slowly walked down just in time for everything to unfold as expected. As the car neared the fateful stretch of road, Ethan noticeably slowed down. "Babe, there's someone lying in the road. I think she's bleeding." I lazily opened my eyes and lifted my head. Sure enough, Emma was lying there, clutching her belly, blood pooling beneath her. Even more gruesome than last time. Ethan anxiously pulled over and tapped my arm. "Babe, I think she's pregnant. Go check on her." I stayed still, unmoving. I simply stared at him and said coldly, "Drive." Ethan's eyes widened. He was stunned, confused by my indifference, the same indifference that had once led me into their trap. You're just gonna sit there?" I looked him dead in the eye, my face expressionless. "Not my kid. What does it have to do with me?" It was like lightning struck Ethan. He froze, completely shaken by those words coming from my mouth. And of course, why wouldn't he be? For 10 years, I had carefully cultivated the image of a strong yet empathetic woman, Eleanor Hall, vice president of Walker Global. I often posted online about the struggles women faced in marriage and motherhood. Who would have guessed Ethan had secretly recorded those sentiments? When Emma spread her malicious lies, it was Ethan who cut and spliced my recordings to make me sound like a monster to the public. "So what if you're pregnant? Tell me after the baby's born. I'll have someone replace you. Gave notice a month in advance. Sorry, I'm the boss. I'm too swamped to remember your petty updates. Just go give birth. Better check in early. Don't want a 2 lives lost headline." When those recordings were leaked, my career was ruined. In this life, I am no longer the naive Eleanor I once was. Ethan glanced out the window, then turned back, trying to suppress his anger. "Go down and check on her. I'm a man, it's not appropriate. She's pregnant, that's 2 lives. I remained calm. Think about it. What kind of pregnant woman wanders the streets alone in her final trimester? Most daughters-in-law are treated like fragile glass. She's probably just someone's mistress. As soon as the words left my mouth, Ethan shouted, "Enough! I can't believe you're so cold-blooded." I smiled without replying. Internally, I sneered. "Hurts now, doesn't it? Look at the blood on the road. Does it tear your heart out?" Ethan bolted out of the car while I slowly pulled out my phone and turned on the camera. At the very least, I needed proof it was Ethan Walker who saved her, not me. That road was desolate, little traffic, far from the hospital. When he bent down to touch Emma, he immediately realized there was way more blood than expected. Ethan panicked. "Call an ambulance now!" Emma was rushed into surgery. Although everything had been planned, the excessive bleeding that they hadn't expected. "Where are the patient's relatives?" "She's losing too much blood. We need a Group B, blood transfusion urgently." Ethan turned to me. "Eleanor, aren't you blood type B?" He sounded stern, pressuring me, but I wasn't afraid. A man earning $3,000 a month thought he could boss me around. I had climbed to the vice president position on my own. I wasn't someone who could be intimidated. Ethan changed tactics, raising his voice so all the doctors and nurses could hear. "Saving a life is worth more than building 7 pagodas, and this is saving 2. Eleanor, you've been a mother before. You're healthy. 600 ml of blood shouldn't be a problem." I let out a cold laugh. He remembered I'd once been pregnant, but forgot I had just had an abortion less than a month ago. I grabbed his arm and pulled over a nurse. "I had an abortion last month. In this case, can I donate blood?" Ethan froze, speechless. The crowd outside the OR grew. Some even volunteered to donate, but I suddenly grabbed Ethan's hand and declared, "No need to bother anyone. My husband is also type B. He just said 600 ml was no problem. If anyone should do good, it should be him." All eyes immediately turned to Ethan. A nurse pulled his arm, preparing to lead him to donate. Ethan's face turned ghostly pale, standing stiff. "There are so many people here. Does it have to be me?" I patted his shoulder, smiling sweetly. "Honey, how could you say that? You're a man. This is your moment to shine. Saving a life is noble. And we're talking about a pregnant woman here." The crowd chimed in. "She's right." "What did you say to your wife earlier?" "Go on, now don't dawdle. What kind of man doesn't dare to save a life?" Ethan Walker was forced into the donor's chair, complying begrudgingly. But as soon as they drew 500 ml yellows, he collapsed unconscious. The hallway filled with shouts and panic. I rushed over, raising my voice as I ran. "I'm so proud of my husband. Only God knows how much effort I'd spent in the past helping him recover from anemia. And now just 500 ml and he was flat on the floor, barely breathing. Who knows how long it'll take for him to recover." I looked down at him, his face pale, lips, bluish eyes shut tight. Memories from my past life flooded back like a film in reverse. In my previous life, I saved a pregnant woman who had fallen, which led to severe blood loss. But in the end, she falsely accused me of hitting her with my car. There were no surveillance cameras on that road. She kept slandering me, demanding compensation. Online, she wept pitifully, telling stories that swayed public opinion. I became the villain, suspended from work, my personal information exposed from my workplace to my home address. A furious mob shoved me into an oncoming truck. I died instantly. Only after death did I find out it was Ethan Walker who leaked my information to her. They wanted me out of the way to seize everything I owned. Your plan is perfect. Not only did you get rid of the deformed baby, but now the internet sympathizes with you. This kind of content is easy money. She was just too rich. Now that she's dead, everything is ours. I died with my eyes wide open. Emma, the mistress, lived in my house, spending my money like a queen. When my parents came seeking justice, they chased them away with a broom. Your daughter was born under an unlucky star. Come here to stir trouble, and I'll hire someone to curse her soul. Make sure she reincarnates as an animal for eternity. Maybe they really feared I'd come back as a vengeful ghost, so they stuck 2 talismans on my urn to trap my soul. But karma works in mysterious ways. Thanks to those very talismans, I was reborn. 2 hours later, Ethan slowly regained consciousness, eyes dazed, voice full of blame. "You knew I was anemic, and you still let me donate blood." I feigned concern and helped him sit up. "Honey, didn't you once say saving a life is more virtuous than building 7 pagodas? You've earned massive karma today." Ethan's face turned pale as he suppressed his anger. Finally, he asked, "And her? The pregnant woman, how is she now?" "Emma received 3 bags of blood and survived, but the baby didn't make it. We went to the hospital room. As soon as she saw me, Emma's eyes turned red and she sobbed like a willow in the rain, then pointed at me. 'She hit me. She killed my baby. She must compensate me.'" I smiled coldly and pulled Ethan in front of me. "Wait, he's the one who saved you. Not me. I didn't even touch you." Ethan was stunned. Too weak to respond, he said nothing. I folded my arms with a helpless look. "See, I told you she's trying to extort us." Knowing she'd be caught off guard with her plan disrupted, I deliberately gave them some space to discuss. But when I returned, a tall, unfamiliar man had stormed in, grabbed Ethan by the collar, and lifted him. "You made my sister miscarry. Pay $500,000, not a cent less." Seeing me walk in, Ethan screamed, "Wife, you have to back me up. I didn't hit her." Emma immediately burst into tears, hatred flashing in her eyes, her face pale like she was about to faint. I pretended not to notice their performance and shouted, "You people are so ungrateful. My husband saved you, and now you turn around and try to frame him." I stepped closer. "Also, even if your child were some divine being, he wasn't worth $500,000, Emma howled. I calmly added, "If we hadn't brought you to the hospital, you'd already be meeting your baby in the afterlife." The man grew enraged, veins bulging on his forehead. "What did you say?" "In my past life, he gained the most from all this. I once saw him secretly meeting with Emma. Turns out he was her ex-husband. Ethan and I had just been pawns in their little game." I provoked him further. A pregnant woman in her final month wandering alone in a deserted area. Where was her husband? Why wasn't he with her? Or maybe she is the mistress and the baby's real father is back home with his actual wife. As soon as I finished, the man punched Ethan straight in the face. Ethan screamed in pain, too scared to fight back. Emma panicked and ran to hold the man's arm. And me, I just stood quietly in the corner smirking. This lifetime, I'm not afraid of making a scene. The man hit so hard, no one could pull him off. In the end, the nurse had to call the police. Ethan Walker's face twisted in pain, full of resentment as he looked at me. I, on the other hand, pretended to be furious at Emma and shouted, "You're heartless and cruel. You'll never end well. The police will bring us justice." Emma's eyes welled up with tears, her voice weak. "I'm the victim here. I'm a mother who just lost her child. Why are you pushing me so far? Go ahead and call the police. Let the law punish you." The car that hit her orchestrated by Ethan. The location carefully chosen. Most importantly, the dash cam that day just happened to malfunction. Even if the police got involved, there'd be no evidence to prove our innocence. In the previous life, Emma always played the victim, the weak one. Public opinion would surely side with her. But this time, it's different. I recorded everything. The most crucial detail, the one who got out of the car to help her, was Ethan, not me. Husband and wife are one wrong. Through thick and thin, maybe, but when disaster strikes, every man for himself. Emma immediately told the police. They hit me, they felt guilty, so they brought me to the hospital. If they weren't at fault, why would they pay the fees up front, just like last time? Her words left Ethan speechless. He eventually tried to negotiate, "Can we lower the amount?" "It doesn't have to be 500,000. Emma and the man claiming to be her brother refused to budge. Ethan glanced at me, eyes pleading. I laughed. "Honey, you were the one driving. If you've got the money, go ahead and pay." His face froze instantly. "Babe, didn't you say you were keeping the money?" Clearly, Emma wanted to use Ethan to squeeze money from me, but I firmly refused. "I don't have any money. If you don't pay, I'll jump off the building. My child is gone. There's no reason for me to live anymore. Hoo hoo hoo." That night at home, Ethan kept mumbling something while I calmly ate dinner as if nothing happened. Just as I finished my second slice of durian cake, Ethan couldn't hold back any longer. I sat on the sofa. He dropped to one knee, voice pitiful. "Babe, I was wrong. I shouldn't have gone against you to help someone. I underestimated how evil this world can be. Can you help me this once? I swear I'll work hard to pay it back." I almost burst out laughing. With his measly $3,000 salary, save 500 grand. Maybe if Google went bankrupt first. I pushed him away, face stern. "Whether we're rich or not, I won't give a single cent. If we really hit someone, let insurance handle it. But this is a scam. For people like that, I won't pay a dime. If we didn't do anything wrong but still pay up, aren't we just enabling evil?" With that, I walked into the bedroom and locked the door. "You can sleep alone tonight." Think carefully about what I just said. I didn't need to turn around to feel the cold, resentful glare behind me. Late that night, I heard Ethan on the phone in the next room. "Let's go all in tomorrow." I shifted to a comfier position and went back to sleep. That's right. Tomorrow is when the real show begins. The next morning, Ethan pounded frantically on my door. "Babe, wake up." She jumped off the building. I pretended to be asleep, saying nothing. But in reality, I was standing in front of the mirror, picking out an outfit. Today was a big day. Naturally, I had to dress the part. She's live streaming. The whole internet is cursing us. "How can you sleep through this?" I yawned. Got it. You go first. I'll be there later. Once he left, I unlocked my phone and opened the live stream. Emma was standing on the rooftop of a 6-story building, tears streaming down her face. I'm the victim. They've pushed me to the edge. The comments exploded like a nest of ants. Don't do anything rash. Stay strong, sis. Fight for justice. Whoever hit someone and won't pay should be punished. I have terminal cancer and still want to drag some scum down with me. My heart remained as calm as still water. In my past life, it was exactly this kind of so-called righteous internet mob that destroyed me. But this time, I won't let anyone defeat me. Ethan appeared on the live stream, dropping to his knees in front of her. Don't jump. If you jump, my wife and I will bear the guilt forever. Emma's tears welled up. You drove me to this. Right after she said that, her so-called brother came charging in and kicked Ethan square in the chest. Where's your wife? She's the one who wouldn't pay up, isn't she? Ethan writhed on the ground, groaning. Bro, my wife refused to take responsibility, Emma shouted to the crowd. We didn't hit anyone. I heard that line as I was on my way to the scene. I couldn't help but laugh. See, whether in my past life or this one, Ethan Walker always chose to throw me under the bus with just a few words. By the time I arrived, the fire department had already set up an inflatable rescue cushion below the building. Crowds were gathering and the live stream was exploding. My arrival was like lighting a match to the wildfire of this rooftop suicide scandal. I stepped forward, held my head high, and acted innocent, like I was only there to check in. Looking straight at Emma Collins, I raised my voice on the 6th-floor rooftop. Emma, it's only been one night and you already want to jump. My husband Ethan and I just happened to see you bleeding on the street and kindly rushed you to the hospital. Why are you pulling this dramatic stunt now? As I spoke, I covered my face, pretending to sob. But I didn't expect Emma to go that far. She screamed, voice manic. You think I'm faking? You think I'd use my child's life to stage this? If you don't believe me, I'll die right now. With that, she actually jumped. Both feet left the edge. The crowd screamed. Ethan yelled, Emma, don't. But Emma wasn't stupid. She still held tightly to the railing, never letting go. The firefighters immediately pulled her up. She cried so hard she could barely breathe. The wind on the rooftop was strong, and her fragile postpartum figure made her look like a flower about to fall. The internet exploded. Comments flooded in. She's so pitiful. They're monsters. All this for money. Me. I smiled. What a coincidence, the day Ethan rescued someone, our dashcam just so happened to be broken and the street had no CCTV. I made sure Ethan stopped the car at the perfect spot. And the smirks on Emma and his faces, they couldn't even hide it. That was before I opened my mouth and said, luckily, I always plan ahead. That day I recorded everything myself. Emma froze. Her face turned to stone. Ethan stood dumbstruck, stammering, but babe, when did you record that? I didn't even notice. Blowing this up won't be good for anyone. Why don't we resolve this privately? I didn't bother responding. I shoved him aside, pulled out my phone. With a simple tap, the live stream resumed and the video played live. In the clip, it was crystal clear Emma was nearly 10 meters away from our car, and Ethan was the one who got out first. I only stepped out after. The comments flipped instantly. OMG, what a fake! This psycho just made it all up. She tried to frame someone who saved her. Why didn't she just fall off for real? Emma stood paralyzed, as if she couldn't comprehend how everything had gone off script. Ethan turned to me, stunned. You had proof. Why didn't you show it from the start? I smiled. If I'd shown it earlier, how could I have watched you two clowns dig your own graves? I'd suffered enough in my past life. This time, they'll taste every ounce of it served cold. Emma lifted her head, trying to say something, but with thousands of venomous comments raining down on her from netizens, she couldn't utter a single word. And when she climbed back onto the railing this time, no one stopped her. Eventually, Ethan rushed forward and yanked her down. Don't jump. Just explain everything. Say sorry, and we won't press charges. I didn't even need to look to know Ethan was desperately signaling to me with his eyes, begging. Emma looked at me, her eyes wavering, then suddenly broke into loud sobs. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking straight. I was heartbroken after losing my baby. I got stabbed, passed out. And when I woke up and saw you two, I didn't mean to frame anyone. Then, she knelt down and slammed her forehead to the cold concrete. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Each thud echoed sharp and pitiful. Ethan looked at me conflicted as if he wanted to intervene. I stood still. 100 apologies still wouldn't be enough. Emma's ex-husband tried to help her up, but she stayed on her knees, refusing to budge. The live stream kept rolling. Netizens' sympathy had fully turned to fury. Two-faced green tea. How long does she think she can keep up this act? Social media isn't your weapon to ruin lives. Get out. Sensing the tides turning, Emma suddenly shut her eyes and pretended to faint. The rooftop fell into chaos again. But did she really think it was over? Days later, Ethan walked around like a soulless shell. Meanwhile, I lived as if nothing had happened, calm, steady. He tried to speak to me several times, but always hesitated and stayed silent. 2 days later, the local news reported Emma Collins, after the shock of losing her child and her reputation, attempted suicide by taking sleeping pills in the hospital. But she failed. 3 days later, on the weekend, just as I had woken up, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and was surprised to see Emma and her ex-husband. She lowered her head, her voice hoarse. Big sister, I came to apologize. When I first opened my eyes, I saw you there. I really thought you were the one who hit me with your car. I'm sorry. It was my eyes. They were blind. After speaking, the two of them helped each other out the door without another word. I was still stunned when Ethan spoke up. Babe, $500,000 isn't a huge amount for us. Why not give it to them? They lost a child after all. Think of it as helping them out. I looked down and gave a cold chuckle, shook my head slightly, then replied, Honey, you do have a point. He lit up with relief, just about to exhale when I shifted my tone. But people who are pitiful aren't always trustworthy. What would they do with $500,000? Let her husband blow it all in a casino. In 3 months, it'll be gone. Ethan frowned, clearly annoyed. Her husband. She doesn't even have a husband anymore. I held back a laugh and answered seriously. That man is her ex-husband. They divorced because of debt. And that debt, not more, not less, was exactly $500,000. If it wasn't about that money, why would they insist on that exact amount? Ethan's face immediately changed. He stood up and stormed out of the house. Another civil war incoming. That evening, he rushed home, speaking anxiously. Babe, you've overthought it. That guy was just her cousin. She even showed me their family group chat to prove it. I, Eleanor Smith, silently cursed idiot, but kept a surprised look on my face. How could that be? I even had someone investigate. Clearly, between me and Emma Collins, Ethan Walker still chose to believe her. But that's okay. I was already prepared for the next step. I immediately posted on X, formerly Twitter, Hey everyone, can anyone verify the relationship between these two people in the photo? The first 5 people to provide accurate proof will receive a $50,000 cash reward. First come, first served. Attached was a photo of Emma Collins and the mystery man. The post instantly went viral. Some people commented, Emma Collins really messed with the wrong person. Not long after Ethan kicked down the door to my office. Eleanor, you're seriously offering $50,000 to netizens just to dig up proof? That's insane spending even if we have money. I tilted my head and replied calmly. So what if it's $50,000? You think that's a lot? His face flushed red with anger, chest rising and falling with fury. Before he could say more, I waved him off. Leave. Don't bother me. My DMs are blowing up right now. 2 hours later, I received a message from a Civil Affairs Bureau staff member. I personally handled their divorce last month. They were legally married. Before I could show the proof to Ethan, my phone rang. It was Emma. Her voice was bitter. You think just because you have money, you can do anything. If you have $50,000, why not give it to me? You're illegally gathering private information. I'll sue you. I turned on the speaker right as Ethan walked back in. If you've got nothing to hide, why are you so scared of an investigation? And this is my money. I can spend it however I want. From your tone, it sounds like you think you own it, Emma. Then I handed my phone to Ethan to read the message from the netizen. His face darkened. Real name, Emma Collins. Man's name, Arthur. Divorced on August 14th, 2024. The other end of the line went silent. Emma was speechless. She had once claimed the baby in her womb was Ethan's, but at that time she was still married. Ethan was silent for a moment, then abruptly stood up. Eleanor, I've got something to do. I'm heading out for a bit. I didn't bother stopping him. I just called out loudly on purpose. Honey, so when are we transferring the $50,000 to Emma Collins? She really needs it right now. Ethan's face turned darker than the bottom of a pot, furious enough to punch the wall. I'm not sending it. Why the hell should our family's money go to someone else? Her kid's dead. What does that have to do with me? He roared, then slammed the door and stormed out. I smirked and picked up the phone. Did you hear that? Sorry, my husband refuses to send the money. On the other end, Emma sobbed hysterically. I leisurely posted screenshots of my money transfers to the 5 people who had provided evidence first. Public opinion exploded again. I sat with my arms folded, tapping my fingertips on the table, waiting for the next storm to hit. Half an hour later, I heard Emma's voice through the earpiece. Ethan, why are you freaking out like this? Those people are just making stuff up for money. Eleanor's rich, 100 grand is nothing to her. She started coughing hard, her voice breaking up. Ethan, let go. I can't breathe. Ethan's voice cut like a blade. Tell me the truth. Whose kid is it? That guy? He's your ex-husband, isn't he? Emma sobbed. No, we broke up. I'm single. I was just waiting for you. I nearly burst out laughing. Lies that cheap, and he still bought them. From the other end, I could hear Emma struggling, her voice muffled like she was being strangled. Then Ethan shouted, Didn't you want to go up to the rooftop? Fine. Let's go. I'll take you up there and you can tell the truth. The sound of chaos broke out. I stayed expressionless, calmly dialing another number. A rough male voice answered. Who is this? I gently replied, feigning worry. My husband seems really upset. He went looking for Emma. Have you seen them? What? The man sounded shocked. Beep. The call was cut. I smiled again. Go ahead. The more people show up, the more fun it'll be. The wind howled across the rooftop, but even that couldn't drown out Ethan's furious roar. Tell me the truth, or I'll push you off myself. Die already, you disgusting woman. He stomped hard on the ground. You dared play with my feelings. That kid. Whose child is it? Ethan Walker bellowed in rage. All he got in return was Emma Collins' terrified scream. Because of you, I betrayed my wife. She might have a sharp tongue, but at least she can earn money. And you, a con artist who just wants to scam money to pay your ex-husband's gambling debts, right? I'm going to kill you. I swear I'll kill you. The sounds of wild struggling echoed through the phone, and the more I listened, the more thrilled I felt. But then, after one final scream, everything went silent. Someone had fallen, but who? Before I could tell, Emma's trembling voice came through. Arthur, what do we do now? We killed someone. Why did you show up out of nowhere? I was scared to death just now. Arthur was there. So the one who fell, was it Ethan Walker? Arthur sounded much calmer than I expected. He barked, Stop crying. He fell by himself. It has nothing to do with us. Got it. We act like we know nothing. This matter. Only the sky knows, the earth knows, you know, and I know. He paused. Then his voice dropped lower. Wait. No. Maybe his wife knows too. A dead silence. Seconds later, my phone vibrated. I answered. A police officer spoke from the other end. We found your husband. Are you home right now? I chuckled quietly. Trying to kill someone to shut them up? Too bad. The more evil you do, the faster karma catches up. 15 minutes later, Arthur showed up at my house with Emma. Peeking through the peephole, I saw him bowing his head, pretending to be polite. But the moment he stepped inside, he pulled a knife from his coat, intending to kill me. Too bad for him. Before he could even raise the knife, 2 undercover cops lunged from either side and handcuffed him. It all happened so fast, he didn't even have time to react. What are you doing? He screamed. I just smiled without saying a word. One officer pulled out his badge and said sternly, Emma Collins, Arthur, you are under suspicion of attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. You're coming with us. They were both taken away before they could even defend themselves. While the officers were writing their report, I received a call from the hospital. The only message, Ethan Walker is dead. Fell from the 16th floor. Didn't survive. I gripped my phone tightly, swallowed the pain, and quietly began funeral arrangements. 1 week later, with pale makeup and a forced look of sorrow, I arrived at the insurance company. After coming back to life, I had bought Ethan a $1 million life insurance policy. This was a game. Either he died or I did. In the end, he lost. I looked at the phone screen, displaying my bank account, a balance with more zeros than I could count. He wanted to kill me for money. What a shame. Now that money's mine. Emma and Arthur were thrown into jail. The secret audio recording I'd made was the key evidence. Both were charged with attempted murder. At first, they tried to claim it was self-defense, but Ethan's gruesome death made their excuses sound like a bad joke. He'd fallen from the 16th floor and been impaled on the spiked iron fence, a horrifying scene that forced the building's owner to move out that very night. The case shook the public. Emma tried to hire a lawyer, no one dared take it. On the day of the trial, reporters swarmed the courthouse, shoving microphones in my face. The public still didn't know the true relationship between Ethan, Emma, and Arthur. Some even mourned Ethan. Miss Smith, we know you must be heartbroken. But could you share your thoughts right now? This all began with one simple thing, me trying to be a good person. They asked me, will you ever want to help anyone again? All eyes turned toward me, full of pity and sympathy. I pretended to be shocked, dazed, covering my face as I burst into tears. We were all deceived. This was a plan from beginning to end. Emma Collins, she was Ethan Walker's mistress. They worked together, just to scam me out of my money. The moment I said it, the crowd gasped like they'd been struck by lightning. Someone whispered, "Then, why did she push Ethan off the roof?" I said nothing, just quietly pulled out my phone and played the recording. In it, Emma Collins's cold voice rang out. She was using Ethan to scam me so she could pay off her ex-husband's gambling debts. But Ethan unexpectedly fell for her for real. And when everything came to light, realizing he was just a pawn in her scheme, he couldn't handle the truth. Once the audio went public, social media exploded. Ethan Walker, once seen as a tragic victim, was now seen as a con artist, a traitor, a fool blinded by love. Some enraged netizens even said, dig up his corpse. It's not enough that he's dead. Public fury toward Emma Collins and her ex-husband Arthur hit the roof. Hashtag death penalty. For Emma Collins climbed to the top of trending searches. Everyone demanded the court sentence them both to death. And me, Eleanor Smith, the betrayed wife, I became the public's darling. I quietly used a side account to reveal information about the beauty brand I founded. Once people connected the dots, they flocked to support it. Within 1 week, orders skyrocketed by more than 40%. Lost a husband. So what? I got rich. Emma might not die, but she'd rot in prison, and I wasn't finished yet. After they were arrested, I paid to grease the wheels with a few people inside, hardened inmates, experts in welcoming new guests. Just a little discipline for the two of them. Consider it justice served cold. After everything, I realized that blind kindness cannot save someone who is destined to betray you. In this life, if you don't stand up for yourself, you'll always be the prey in someone else's game. In my past life, I lost because I trusted too easily, because I lived for others' emotions and ignored my own instincts. In this life, I was reborn not for revenge, but to protect myself with clarity, strength, and dignity. Forgiveness is a kind of strength, but it's not meant for those who show no remorse. I've learned to put my own worth first, and that is the justice I reclaimed for myself. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed a relaxing and captivating storytelling experience. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support gives me the motivation to create more amazing content.